Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday and welcome back to Sissy's Corner. I hope you had a good week so far. I'm in my usual spot, and today we are talking about pets and the benefits of pets, specifically for mental health, but just also overall. Um, a quick disclaimer before I begin. This does not in any way mean that you have to get a pet or that everybody should have a pet. This is just something that I have found helpful, but I also know that other people have found helpful in their mental health journey. And I'm going to explain why it can be beneficial, but I'm in no way, shape, or form recommending that everybody get a pet because meet Sissy, my cat. I know that I talk about her a lot, but I haven't officially introduced her. She's the namesake for this channel and the entire reason why I decided to do this. So I found it only fitting to also talk a little bit about this type of aspect and the reason why I think it's helpful. As always, you guys, I have my little cheat sheet. Please ignore my writing, but I have a cheat sheet to talk about some things. This is going to be a very quick one. And yeah, sorry for rambling. I guess I just felt like talking. But we're gonna get started straight away. So what can be some main motivations to even get a pet? And it doesn't have to be a specific pet. Like anything will work that you can have an emotional connection with. I'm not only specifically talking about cats, dogs, whatever. Whatever floats your boat can work for you in this scenario, in this case, because pets have the effect of making us feel less lonely, making us feel less alone, especially if our living circumstances are that we are also living alone. These pets can make us feel less lonely because there's always someone else in the house. It can give us a little task and a motivation. For example, to get up out of bed. Sissy will wake me up in the morning and demand that I feed her. So therefore, I have not only the intrinsic motivation, but also extrinsically a motivation to get up for her, make sure that she is fed. You can be more motivated for exercise or just to move around because you have to chase after them. You have to make sure that everything, is prepared and the setup is there for them. Why am I bringing up pets together with mental health? Let's first of all talk about what mental health is. I know that I've made several videos that are adjacent to the topic, but I think especially for people that might be new here or people that watch this specific one, let's go into it. Mental health is a state of mental well or unwell being that enables or disables people to healthily cope with the stressors of life and society and just basically the whole human existence. So what it will describe is how your head reacts to and your emotions and your internal life within yourself will feel and how you can deal with certain things that come up that are just a part of life. Mental health is emotional, psychological, but also social well-being, because all of these things can get affected if you are well or unwell. You might feel more sociable when you're more comfortable. You might not feel so sociable when you're not comfortable. Things like this. It's just normal. And let's talk about pets and just animals overall, because some people, even if the animal doesn't live with you, find a great benefit in having an animal around, such as if you are on a farm, you might have horses or cows around or any other animal that will give you that same feeling, same comfort, because you're with them every day, you take care of them every day. So therefore, I'm talking about animals. People, talking about animals and adjacent things such as pets, anything that's close to you, or that you have contact with on a regular basis. Animals, they can serve as a source of support and comfort because the nature and the effects of the body significantly can reduce the feelings of stress and anxiety. So if you're around a pet, your emotions might change. It might be happier emotions, and that of course is good for you. But also interactions between humans and animals appeal to our emotional side, and they trigger positive cognitive response because it's just something that's like in our nurturing DNA, that we feel like, oh, so cute, let me take care of it. It just is encouraged. So we generally become more caring, more joyful, but also communicative. There's been plenty of studies with children and animals where it's shown that if the kids had an animal around growing up, they're more communicative with their peers, for example, have an easier time chatting to them, have an easier time connecting with them, picking up on emotional clues, things like that, which is just encouraged through taking care of a pet. And then pets can also keep us responsible outside of ourselves. So it's kind of like having a dependent outside of ourselves. And people like to always have this discussion if we're going to talk about kids and pets in the same way, or if it has the same weight. Doesn't necessarily have to, and I'm not saying that it's the same thing, but what is triggered within ourselves is the same reaction. So we feel like we have to do things for them because they are dependent on us. They are dependent on us in getting their food and getting anything that they need, especially if they live in our house. So the emotional responsibility that we feel is similar, let's just say. And let's say I have a dog. He needs to be walked 2, 3, 4 times a day, however often. And I have a fixed schedule around this. He might be hungry at specific times, and he will also wake me up in the mornings. Like, I had a dog growing up, and he would always wake me up, which, if you're a teenager, maybe not so nice, but just generally very nice if you're struggling keeping routines, if you're having problems getting out of bed. Plus, also, you can never be mad at them for waking you up because it's not a conscious decision that they are cognitively able to form of like, oh, let me be respectful, let me let this person sleep because they're not well rested. So getting you out of bed is just their natural way of checking in on you, which is sweet and sweet natured. So we just, might be angry for a couple of minutes, but then we end up getting up because they won't stop coming in or like making sure that we're okay and wanting food. So we check in on them. We make sure what are some key factors or what are some key effects that pets and animals that are around us can have on us. They can bring us more happiness and support. They reduce anxiety and also depression because of the aforementioned things that they do for us. They relieve stress. For example, cats, they purr in a certain way, in a certain frequency that just eases our nervous system. It just makes us relax. So if you've ever had a cat that's like purring on you, whether you're a cat person or not, genetically we have a reaction to it. We get more relaxed, which is really, really cool. And then also, like I said, they increase physical activity and they reduce the loneliness because there's always someone around. You're never having a dull moment, and you can always, talk to them, connect with them, all of that good stuff. And now let's get into more of the specific points, how the pets can support us, what they actually will do for us. So pets are emotionally engaging and they trigger positive responses from us. And also, pets can sense when we are sad or not feeling well, and they will come check in on us. Animals have other senses heightened that we as humans haven't really learned to listen to or aren't really conscious about, that we still have. But animals are tuned into those way more, which means that they just, for example, smell that something is off, or they realize from our heartbeat or anything that things are just not normal, so they will come check in on us. Pets are known to give comfort when you're feeling anxious, and they can make us feel less alone. It doesn't necessarily completely alleviate the anxiety, but it can. It's something that's very, very important, and I think it's one of the major things that are beneficial. So animals in general, they make us feel seen without any judgment. It's an unconditional relationship. There's an unconditional nature there. And that helps a lot when feeling unwell or feeling low, because we oftentimes feel judged by our surroundings, by our circumstances, by just things in daily life. But animals, they just don't do that because they don't function in the same parameters that we do function. And to me personally, that's always been super, super helpful, because I always felt judged from the outside due to some things that I had going on. And my dog growing up really helped ease that, and turn it into more of a comfort for me to come home, be around him, because no matter which state I was in, he would still have the same reaction to me being around him. He would still be happy. He would still greet me, treat me exactly the same. Didn't matter if I had pimples. It didn't matter if I ate too much, ate too little, whatever. My dog loved me just the same. And I feel like with humans, even if we love someone to the death, there's still some kind of conditions to it, because it's in our nature to have conditions. In some sense, it doesn't necessarily mean that we love somebody less, but we still can judge each other's behavior, because we have this whole thing about morality, which animals just don't. So there's a key difference, and I think that especially can really help when you're not feeling so good. Like I mentioned before, pets have a calming effect on our nervous system, which lessens the effects of the stress on our body. Pets make us naturally more active, because we are more engaged to run around with them, make sure that they have enough exercise, all of those things. We are more motivated, and never lonely. And I know that I keep repeating myself, but these things, I think I really just wanted to give some room and stress. But the last thing I'm going to talk about is something extremely specific, and something that I think people that have dealt with, for example, anxiety or some other mental health disorder might already know. But pets can be a great anchor. If you ask what is an anchor is a reliable thought, practice, or a relationship that will help steady your nervous system when your emotions surge, and it helps you regulate, feel safer, and more calm. It's a practice of mindfulness that is often used in mental health to help stabilize and help make people feel better momentarily and ease some of the stress that's on the body, to make sure that a person can calm down more easily and relax more easily. And pets work wonders for it, because it's a real thing that you can touch and that you can engage with, while at the same time you also know how they make you feel. So it's something that you don't have to always be doing in their presence. You can also do it when you're away from them. But it's just a nice thing that you can, or it's an added bonus that you can engage your other senses, because you can feel them, you can touch them, you can smell them, things like this. But if you want to start practicing and you have this question, how do I find an anchor? It's pretty simple. There's a few steps. So according to the research that I did, is what is the person or a thing that made you feel safe or that relaxes you. Doesn't have to be anything in specific, but if you think about one thing or one person or anything in your life that gives you the feeling of comfort, that is the thing to focus on. And then find a place you feel comfortable and safe in your mind and think about that place with that thing in it. And then you can also think about a time in your life where you felt more at ease or where these stressors weren't there. And then you can also integrate that into your life. Like, let's play it through together. Let's just say I'm gonna use my childhood dog. I'm gonna use a beach because I love the beach. It relaxes me instantly, the sound of waves, and my childhood dog. And then a time in my life where I felt good. Let's just, I don't know, let's just say 16-year-old me randomly. Because I was growing up and I was getting more independent, but I still had like safety of my home and everything going for me. Let's just pick that together. So if I focus on those three things that give me so much comfort, I'm going to be able to help me relax, get more in tune with myself, and then go to a happy place, kind of. And that will help bring down emotional surges or also just feelings of stress. If you really, really, really focus on it and you have like a vivid picture in your mind and you focus on the things. They also can help. So for example, what can you see? What can you smell? What can you hear? Those things. And just really, really imagine it so vividly as much as you possibly can to really focus and get into it. And then once that's done, you should be way more calmer, but you can rinse and repeat as much as you need. And you can also have different anchors and different constructs of ideas behind it. It doesn't have to only slowly be one, but it can be different things. Now we're going to talk about combining the two things. So we're going to talk about animals, pets, plus the anchoring technique and why I think those are good to work together. The relationship between a human and an animal is never ambivalent. You either know they love or hate you. There's no in between. No real question about that, because there's no such thing as like miscommunication or things like this. It's way more straightforward, way more linear. It's mostly a positive thing, only positive benefits and positive outcome. It can feel safe because there's no judgment, like I explained earlier. It gives comfort because it relaxes you and it makes you feel good. Do not have people in your life, because I said earlier when anchoring, and I began to describe it, that it can be done with a person that makes you feel safe. And the good thing about using animals or pets is that maybe if you are in a situation where you cannot think of another human being that made you feel good, you can use a pet. You can use an animal that you are close with that's around you. You can also use a thing. I know that some people do not like animals, and that's also perfectly fine, but you can use something that's like a token to you or things that are close. So I feel like animals can just be a good substitute for people, and things can be a good substitute for animals depending on who you are and what you want, but I think they work really well. And like I explained earlier, for added comfort, you can also pet them, you can touch them, you can engage with them. And for me, for example, knowing that there's another living thing in my house that also has a heartbeat is always super, super helpful for my nervous system to just relax and calm down. Now I rambled quite a bit, and this is way longer than I thought, but I want to just stress again that I'm not recommending to everybody to get a pet, and I'm not saying it is necessary for everyone to have a pet. I'm just trying to highlight how I feel pets are or animals in general are beneficial to our mental health, especially if you're not feeling good. But that shouldn't mean that you should get a pet if you cannot be responsible for its care. They need a lot of care, they need a lot of affection, and it is necessary for you to be able to give that to them. If you cannot, it would be irresponsible to get a pet. That's just something that I want to highlight. But if you aren't at a point in your life where you see yourself getting a pet, you can try to form connections with animals in different ways. You can go by a stable, you can go by a farm, you can take different measures. Maybe you have a friend who has a pet, things like this. So please take it seriously when thinking about getting a pet, and do a research based on what their actual need is. Because specifically for more exotic animals, they have some regulations attached to their care and just things to be aware of. So please make sure that you are prepared. Thank you so much for taking the time, for watching. I hope this is helpful, even though it was all over the place. And yeah, see you next week. And please feel free to let me know what you would like to see and what I should talk about. Love you. Bye bye.